Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
وعليكم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Praise be to Allah, the Lord of the world, the one who exists without a place. May Allah raise the rank of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and protect his nation from that which he fears for. We know why we are here today. And before I discuss that matter, one must know what a miracle is. A miracle is any extraordinary event, and it does not happen in everyday life. Miracles are only for prophets. They are always in agreement with what they say. So no one can do anything that is equal to or similar to what the prophets do in order to discredit them. Examples of miracles include the flowing of water from the fingers of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and as you know, the transformation of Prophet Musa's staff into a giant snake. What one does in opposition to the Prophet is not a miracle, such as magic. Magic is not a miracle because it can be imitated by opposite magic. And one can also counter magic. And one's magic can be stronger than the magic of another. There are two types of miracles. One type occurs after the suggestion of the people that the Prophet is preaching to. They can say, if you are truly a prophet, then show us proof. An example of this type of miracle is what happened to Prophet Salih. His people suggested to him, why don't you bring a camel and its baby out of solid rock? And he did that. That is one type of miracle. The other type of miracle occurs without the suggestion of the people. An example of this second type is, as you know, the miracle of Isra and Miraj, which lastly leads me into my talk today. Now the miracle of Isra and Miraj is confirmed in the Quran in Surah Al-Isra, Ayah 1. قال الله في القرآن سبحان الذي أسرى بعبده ليلا من المسجد الحرام إلى المسجد الأقصى الذي باركنا حوله لنريه من آياتنا إنه هو السميع البصير. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said what means, praise be to Allah who enabled his slave Muhammad to make the journey in the night from Masjid al-Haram in Mecca to Masjid al-Aqsa in Jerusalem, which is surrounded by blessed land. Now this is what the Quran ayah states. This journey is also confirmed in Sahih Hadith. I'm sure we know what a Sahih Hadith is. There is also scholarly consensus, that is ijma', that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam journeyed both in body and soul. Moreover, these scholars indicate that the person who denies these facts is a blasphemer, because he is belying the explicit text of the Quran that I just mentioned. Now during Al-Isra, Angel Jibreel came to the Prophet with the buraq. Now a buraq is an animal of paradise, a very fast animal, and to give you an example of its speed, if you are on the horizon near an ocean, the furthest you can see is one stride of the buraq. So it is a very fast animal. Angel Jibreel and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam mounted the buraq and set forth. They went to Al-Madinah, then Qursina, then Baqlaq, where Prophet Isa alayhi salam was born, until they entered the city of Jerusalem. There, the Prophet Muhammad entered Masjid al-Aqsa, where Allah assembled all of the prophets, starting from Prophet Adam to Prophet Isa alayhi salam. Salawatu Rabbi wa salamuhu alayhim. Now the very important lesson here is that the Prophet led all of the other prophets before him in prayer. Now what does this show us? It showed us that Prophet Muhammad has a higher rank amongst all of the prophets, which is a note that we should take here. During this journey from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, Allah enabled the Prophet to see many of his creations. The Prophet saw people whose lips and tongues were cut up with cedars made of fire. And Angel Jibreel told the Prophet, these are the people who speak the fitna. These are the people who lead others to misguidance. Then he saw that the angels would smash people's heads, and their heads would come back to shape, and the angels would smash their heads, and over and over. Angel Jibreel told the Prophet, these are the people whose heads felt too heavy to pray. meaning that they went to sleep without praying, brothers and sisters. So it is another note that we need to take here. The Prophet also saw people scratching their heads in chests with brass nails. Angel Jibreel told the Prophet, these are the people who committed ghibah, gossip. And this is another important lesson to take. After the Prophet had taken the night journey from Masjid al-Haram to Masjid al-Aqsa, he ascended to the heavens where he saw Prophet Adam. Then on the second heaven, he saw Prophet Isa and Prophet Yahya. Then Prophet Yusuf in the third, then Prophet Idris on the fourth, and on the fifth he saw Prophet Harun. In the sixth heaven, he encountered Prophet Musa. In the seventh heaven, he saw Prophet Ibrahim. Salawatu Rabbi wa salamuhu alayhi. Now the Prophet ascended to a place beyond paradise, where he heard the creating of the pens used by the angels who were copying from the preserved tablets. And at that location, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam heard the kalam of Allah. Now, please take note here. The kalam of Allah is an attribute of the self of Allah. He heard the kalam of Allah, which does not resemble the speech of the creations. It is not something that occurs bit after bit, like I am talking. It is not something that has letters or words. It is not something that stops and continues. The kalam of Allah neither has silence nor interruption. It is an attribute of Allah and does not resemble the attribute of the creations. The main message I want to pass across here today is that there are some false claims that we must be aware of. And these claims are that Prophet Muhammad went to where Allah is. Now this is a false statement. Is it not true that Prophet Musa alayhi salam also heard the kalam of Allah? Where was Prophet Musa at this time? He was in Egypt. So from that line, would you expect that Allah was also in Egypt? No. So we must distance ourselves from this false claim. This just reconfirms the rejection of this false claim and reconfirms the true statement that Allah exists without a place. I ask Allah that we all die as Muslims. I ask Allah to bestow upon us the bounties of paradise without torture. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala knows best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.